one rap is worth 100 lectures. Do me a favor, get it together, kill your hate and dissipate it. I'm an 80s baby to Allah. My father was Muslim and my mom was Christian. One learned man is harder on Satan than 1,000 ignorant worshipers praying all day and every day. The nation really strongly preaches family. Family is super big in the nation, and we're being attacked right now in this country and really throughout the world with family. A man who does not have a good relationship with his mother will not be able to see any female in the proper light. The Nation of Islam really represents in the end goal to heal people and save people throughout the entire planet. When you go out to get knowledge, you know, go out and be a student. And be a humble student to learn and allow life to teach us.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Don't Do Nothing podcast. Today, we have with us Brother Michael. He is an artist, a world traveler, a man of the world. He's a cinematographer, does videos for music videos, weddings, a whole bunch of different stuff, biographies, short documentaries, stuff like that. Amazing. He's a student. Let me see if I get this right.
Okay.
Student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan of the Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's also a trained auditor, and he is a trained auditor in Scientology.
That's correct.
Thanks for being here today, bro.
You're welcome, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Brother Michael, I want to open up this audience to something they haven't experienced. I'm going. No, I'm not. I'm not.
We'll get there.
Here's. Bro, I want to hear a rap, bro. You do freestyle?
Yes.
Yeah. I want to just hear you freestyle, bro, on do something beautiful, something that you think will touch people, because I think that's gonna encapsulate a bit of you.
I got you. Yeah, for sure. Okay, got it. So when it comes to the 16, I'm like the MC, a bowl like a cup of Yogurt Chef coffee. Get up in the morning while I'm still yawning, washing my head, my hands and my feet. That's a Muslim way to his day in the East. I'm on 1 meal a day. In the morning, I don't eat. I'm a G-O-D on the beat, not a priest. What that mean? Put the knowledge in the rhyme, mean I don't need to preach. Make it plain for the streets so a fool can understand it. I am in an army, we can be commanded. Simultaneous putting art on the canvas. Mind's on, that's balance, damn it. Studying amigos, better in the ad-libs. Don't listen to the radio. Y'all do it, all due respect, that's whack. I be in the gym, freestyle this practice. Working on my lyrical sets till it's mastered. Slow down the flow, I can move faster. Cleaning up my garments so I can be rapture director. Behind the camera, actor. Yes, sir. Go and give me an A for my effort. Diss me and just might get ether. I rock with Hova, but Nas had it sold up. The worst yet to come, but we ain't finna fold up. Nah, listen, do me a favor, get it together, kill your hate and dissipate it. I'm an 80s baby to Allah, and my mama I'm forever indebted. Don't forget it, pay attention, you can get it. Messing with me, come on with it. Stand on business, certified. Book me and I take a pic. I'm better than your camera phone Polaroid. Ever since I got a queen, man. Ever since I got a queen, more like a vegetarian, not a carnivore, married, but I still do a little lamb. Not a gangster, but two-step. I'm not about to do no dance. Light bring a lot. Every now and then I like to laugh. Chris Rock, Bernie Mac, Dave Chappelle in that bag. Offend me, apologize, take it back ASAP. That's it.
Oh, yeah, son.
Dude, that was amazing.
Woo!
I'm sorry, I appreciate it.
I was fired.
How long have you been able to do that?
Since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I got inspired when I was 15, living in Atlanta. Yeah. My father moved to Atlanta, Georgia, got married. Actually, the high school I went to, Sierra and Waka Flocka Flame went to the same high school.
Really?
During the time that I was there. And so Atlanta, the city of Atlanta kind of inspired me to go into more creative music passion. And then at the age of 19, I joined the Nation of Islam. My brother was working for 92.3 The Beat in Los Angeles, so we were all on the clubs and opening up for major industry artists and whatnot. But then I woke up spiritually, and the moment I woke up, I kind of had a different train of thought on the type of music that we were making from Long Beach, California.
Can you expand on that? What do you mean by a different train of thought on that?
Like really just the purpose of the because when you're in music, you want to make what hit records will get you the biggest deals or the biggest traction. Yeah. And so you're just making club music, street music, whatever you see in the environment. So
it's
I'm
kind
from
of like,
LA.
It's kind of like mimicry.
Yeah, it's memory, or you just tell what you see, you know, from the community, from the
Observation
neighborhood,
as
right?
well, let's say.
Observation, right? Or telling stories. But I kind of had a train of thought to say when I read I read a book called From Niggas to Gods, and From Niggas to Gods allowed me to see that when it said nigga, it mainly the word nigga wasn't to disrespect black people on the title. It was really saying you're a savage, you're not a human being, you're acting other than yourself, and you need to be on a higher level and train of thought. That was the first book that I read, and I read it in 5 days straight, like completely. That's the first book I read all the way through, except for The Rose That Grew from Concrete, which is by Tupac Amaru Shakur. That was the book I read in high school. And so ever since then, I was like, well, I got a second train of thought on music, and I need to put better music out, or I need to take a break and work on myself to be able to rearrange my thoughts. And 1 year later, we had a younger brother who got murdered from gang violence in Long Beach, California. And so that was like that was like my transition period, like year before that happened. Yeah.
Can I ask a question about the book that you read all the way through in 5 days? What about the book made you, because you said you'd probably maybe read one book before that. What grabbed you in that book? Like, why was it so easy? It sounds like it was easy. Maybe it wasn't.
The chapter that if the black woman is a bitch, that makes you a son of a bitch. That was one of the chapters.
Yeah.
So in the chapter, it was like, if you're calling your women out of their name, then you might as well call your mom out of her name. And
wait, what does out of their name mean?
Meaning then in that way.
Oh,
like,
got it.
Like degrading women with language.
In a certain way.
Bitch, whores, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Stuff that we do in hip-hop music and in certain genres of music, or just street language, right? And it becomes universal. You can get street language like you don't have to be in an inner city community to call a woman a bitch, right?
Yeah.
So that hit me because I didn't really have a good relationship with my mother, even though she recently passed Monday. I called her out of her name, that same word, when I was 14, out of anger.
Wow.
So I had a lot of anger for my mother. So when that chapter was one of the ones that I read, and it was like, if the black woman is a bitch, that makes you the son of a woman who produced you, and she would also be that as well. So in other words, if you don't want me to disrespect your mom, you shouldn't disrespect women or your mom. And so being that I really hadn't at that time, like,
that's very close to the way to happiness. Like the principle of like honor
and help your parents.
Help your parents.
Or
And
do unto others as you would want others to
right.
do unto you.
Who's the author of this book?
Akil.
Okay.
Akil, Akil. And he has 2 gang members on the top of their puppet strings, and they have 2 gang members on the top on the front cover, and they're pointing guns at each other. One is dressed in blue for a Crip, and the other one is dressed in red for blood. And so, but my mom, I still had anger for my mom. I didn't have the best relationship at 19, and fast forward to now, she passed away. I was the last 3 years, I was there with my mom every day, her caretaker. So I was closing the door on the anger, of course, with auditing and spiritual therapy over the years. But I was able to confront her condition, confront her whole well-being, and really just take responsibility and say, Mom, come live with me and my wife. We're going to help you heal your condition. We're going to help you change your diet. We're going to help you. So looking back now that you asked me the question, my mom, I was able to demonstrate the love for my mom and kind of like repair or really work off, as you would say, the debt for the disrespect that I had for my mom coming up.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, could you talk a little bit about kind of before you got into the nation? At 14, you kind of already were in a bad relationship with your mother. Do you know what got you on this path downward before you ever got into the nation?
Yeah. So My father was Muslim and my mom was Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I know they argued over religion. They went back and forth. But I experienced some things in my mother's home that were not good. And so from there, that was around the age of 12. From there, it kind of it keyed in the engrams around that time.
Yeah.
And reactivated, turned them on. It got
Turn them on, yeah. It got them on. I remember reading on the mind that we can receive painful emotional experiences when we're in the wombs of our mothers, these prenatal experiences. But the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, years later, I watched a lecture as I got older, how to give birth to a God. And in the lecture, he talks about his mother, the minister's mother, wanting to get rid of him. His mother tried to abort him. This is the Minister Farrakhan.
Oh, wow.
His mother was from St. Kitts and Nevis. His father was a high yellow Jamaican man, as he put it. His mother and father were married, but the father left her. She got with the minister's older brother's father and had the minister's brother. His father came back into his mother's life and got his mother pregnant. And she was so afraid that the man she was with would discover that another man got her pregnant, because it was a possibility the father is real light from Jamaica. So the child may not come out dark. And so she, because of that, got afraid and tried to get the minister out with a hanger in the bathtub.
Wow.
The minister shares this.
Yeah.
And he says that she said, after the third time, if I try this third time, if it doesn't work, God must want me to have this child. And after that time it didn't work, she prayed really strongly to God that his life be dedicated to him. But in the lecture, it connected to me because my mother told us that she wanted to get rid of me and my brother. She didn't want us. She was like, I was going to get rid of you, Mike. She called me Mikey. She's going to get rid of you. And I was sitting on the couch with a check written out to the abortion clinic. Now, I don't know how long she was thinking of getting rid of me.
How old were you when she was telling you this?
We were teenagers.
Oh, wow.
She would tell us this not out of spite. She would tell us this to say, you all are blessed. Because we were like in the hood, in the ghetto, and we, it's all this stuff. So my mom always,
you get lucky to have life.
right. She would
Don't
always
take it for granted, right? I mean,
right. That's the message. But she didn't know that the mind can interpret things in the present and get re-stimulated from things that have happened in the womb.
Absolutely.
So I learned from the minister's lecture, because he said that I felt that my mother loved my brother more than she loved me. So he was saying that the mother's thoughts, when she finds out that she's pregnant, if her thought alone is, I don't want the baby, I'm not ready to have children. It doesn't have to be her fault. Could be circumstances, right? Those thoughts can impress on the baby and we can feel in the womb, right? So when I read about the mind and, from Aaron, when I read that book, it was like, whoa, this is like a connection to this lecture. This must be the root of why I'm so angry for my mother. Has to be connected in this prenatal area.
Yes.
And now it's like I got to start working on how do I repair that, because I've had this anger and this disrespect for my mom since I was a teenager.
Wow.
And by the way, guys, the book you're talking about is Dianetics, Modern Science of Mental Health, right? We have it here.
Yep.
Boom.
And actually, he does talk about in the book
Prenatal
quite
engrams.
extensively, attempted
prenatal.
Abortions, right?
Right.
Called AA.
Yep.
And in fact, actually talks about the hanger.
Right. Yep.
Actually, in this
absolutely.
book, and
Yes.
this.
So when I read that book, I was in the Nation at the time, and that was that was the connective piece to what the minister was saying. And even though he was giving us a way to study self in many different ways, this was an extra way that I can kind of like zero in and say, I know for sure, based off what the minister taught me, based off what L. Ron Hubbard is teaching, this issue that I have with my mom It's connected in the womb. It's connected in that area.
Yep.
Yep.
So from that day on, I had knowledge is therapy in itself, because not
100%.
knowing,
Yes,
not
that's right.
knowing produces confusion, produces other things. So
Yeah.
when the more that I knew that this is something that I can fix and handle spiritually and now mentally, once I had more knowledge, then I had hope. Because a lot of us in the community, especially young men, we lose hope and we crash out. You know, there's a lot of people now that are crashing out. You know, they lose a girlfriend or a wife, or their mom passes, or somebody, you know, and people are just like crashing out, meaning that's a slang term for like just committing suicide. It doesn't have to be a physical suicide. It can be like, I'm gonna go rob self-destruction. I'm gonna go rob a bank.
Yep.
I'm gonna go put a hit on somebody. And it's like, why would you do that when you have all of this over here? Well, I lost somebody, or I lost a job, or, you know, my business crashed, or whatever it is. But the knowledge, the more we get knowledge, it clears up the misunderstanding, the confusion, and I can have hope that my anger for my mother that trickled into my relationships.
Ooh.
Because the minister taught us that a man who does not have a good relationship with his mother will not be able to see any female in the proper light.
Yeah.
If I don't have a good relationship with my mom. So if I'm married, or I want to get married, or I'm in a relationship, and every relationship is crashing, and you know us, we like to say, man, what happened to your marriage? Oh man, that woman just wasn't the right woman for me.
Yeah.
You know, oh man,
Yeah.
what happened?
It was her fault.
Yeah, it was her fault. She was a bad mother, man. You know, she didn't really understand me. But see, the minister and L. Ron Hubbard, these are men that get the human being to look at the self.
Yes, sir.
See? No, the relationship failed. First person I got to look at is me. I got to look at me.
That's right.
What was my relationship with my mom? What was my childhood like? Did I solve issues before I got into the relationship? So that's what I was doing when I read that. I said, now I have the hope to say, if I can just get into the womb, if I can just get more engrams ran, if I can just get more therapy, more mental therapy, then one day I can close the door on this relationship with my mom. And the last 5 years, I really started to do it heavy. The last 3, I took care of her every day. And the last day that she was alive, she's in the hospital, kissing my mom, hugging my mom, praying for her in her ear, telling her that she's going to live beyond the grave as she's taking her last 20 minutes of life.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm sure she was very happy with you and the change you had.
Yeah.
Man, it's a lot. There definitely was a lot of struggle to take care of her.
What was her reaction when you came around and you were like, hey, Mom, you know, whatever the interaction was, but it all of a sudden, I'm sure it must have been like, was she surprised when you were like, all of a sudden you're like, hey, I want to actually have a great relationship with you? And I didn't
see my father's from Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
So that side of my family, they're very hard and tough. And they don't express emotional love in the way that my mom expresses it. To this day, I don't call my dad. I call him Vincent. And that's not, he changed his last name. And we still call him by his old last name. I call my mom.
Yeah.
So with my dad's side of the family, I'm kind of like along that lines to where it's not easy for me to say I love you, right? That's not easy. I told my mom I loved her every day a lot more since she suffered a seizure in Florida and she was hospitalized, and I saw her condition. And I said, this is where I got to go all the way, right? I got to go all the way. But before that, my love for my mom, me saying I love you, Mom, is fixing you a organic banana smoothie and asking you, Mom, how does smoothie taste?
Yeah.
It tastes excellent. Right?
Yeah.
Me saying I love you is changing your clothes.
Yeah.
Helping you to put your clothes on.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a doingness.
Me saying I love you is, Mom, you want to go to Florida? Yeah, I want to go. You sure you don't want to drop? Do you want us to drop you off here? No. You want to go? Yeah, I want to go. You want to use your flight benefit, Mom? She worked for Delta.
Yeah.
You want to use your flight? Yeah, I want to use it. All right, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Instead of dropping her off. Me saying I love you, Mom, is, Mom, you gonna do? Mom, your one of your family members is planning on putting you in a nursing home. Mom, you got to get out of here. You got to get out of this house. And, you know, we got to take you up with us. Well, when do I got to leave? Mom, we got to pack up your stuff tonight. First thing, and we got to be gone by the night, first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So when she comes to live with me, that's me saying I love you instead of me putting you in a nursing home.
The actions speak way louder than words.
It was, for me, I didn't say it like that, but her reaction was, she would often tell me, you know, I thank God for my son. You know, I say, Mom, you know, I'm not in jail, Mom. I'm not in prison. I'm not dead. I'm here taking care of you.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, man, she'd be looking like, whoa, yeah. So
that's good.
That was her reaction.
That's amazing.
But I didn't really, you know, say certain things to her until later on, only because the wiring of me from a side of my family, even though it's not, that's not right to just be so stiff like that. We should be a little bit more softer, but the benefit to it is I'd rather show you I love you than fake it and tell you and not really mean it.
Absolutely. The one thing that you should know is that Aaron has he loves his mom a lot. He loves his mom so much that his business is named after his mom. Zulai Kitchen. Zulai is his mom's name.
Wow, that's
true.
deep. Yeah,
That's true.
That's powerful.
True. Thank you, Brad. Okay, let's back up a bit. I want to back up a bit because I want to know how did you get into the nation? How did you get exposed to it? Did you approach someone? Someone approached you? Like, how did that path end up?
Yeah, so my father was in the nation since we were in the since the 90s and living in Los Angeles. So Nipsey Hussle, the late great rapper from this rolling 60s in LA, the founder of the Marathon clothing store, I saw him on an interview, and somebody was, it was either him or somebody talking about him, but I remember the story going like, his father, he had like two other brothers. His father would take him and his brothers in a car in LA and drive to a corner and park in like a parking lot. And his father was like, I'm gonna show you all what discipline looks like. And he would pull up on the corner and look at the Fruit of Islam brothers on the corner with a Final Call newspaper in the street and show his sons that's what discipline looks like. But while he was doing that, probably in the 90s, my father would take us, me and my two brothers, in a car and go to a corner, and we would be in the car watching him do the same thing that Nipsey's father was showing them that these brothers were doing.
Oh, wow.
So he was on the opposite end of me, and I thought that was strange. So my father was always in it. We would go over his house. He would take us to the mosque. He would try to share us some things. We would pray with him. So I always had like a picture of it. But my mother didn't agree with Islam. She was Christian. So my mother is like, I don't want you teaching my sons that Islam stuff, right? And they would argue. So I always had a picture of it, but how I really, and I didn't really like listening to the messages because of my mom. Like I would be turned off by it. Like I'd be like, I'm not trying to hear that, right? But one day when
did you embrace Christianity at all?
Coming up, I mean, a lot of people are taken to church. So a lot of people, no matter where we go in life, we have like that, because this is America, right? So you have the Christian background. I really didn't. Once I started to rebel at like 14 and get angry, I was just like, I don't believe in anything. So I started really not really believing in, because the difference between the nation and just the nation and just period, or the Scientology and different, it's more science based, and certain religions are more like emotional, faith and belief based, which is nothing wrong with it. But the science part of it is like, that's the reality part, right? So I really, as a young man and a male, is just like, I need more reality. I need something more tangible to believe, and it wasn't there for me in my mom's household. So I was just like, look, I'm good on that. And then we go outside and we got to fight. We go out, we go to the school, and we get, people are, if somebody picks on you, you gotta put your fists up. So it's like, you're telling me about belief and having faith, but then I walk outside and faith is just like, that's cool, but you know, you gotta fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like that. When I read From Niggas to Gods, that woke me up.
And is that what age?
19.
Okay.
So when I read that, smoking weed and doing a bunch of things, that woke me up. But
You're saying wait. So you were smoking weed, then you read the book.
Yeah, I was smoking weed, carrying a gun, doing different things like in the street, just living a normal teenage life. I was in a city. My mom moved to Cincinnati, so we were living in that city. And I believe my brother had got robbed and pistol whipped for one of his shoes or Timberlands. Oh, wow. And I started carrying a fully loaded gun on me just to make sure, nobody robbed me. One time I did almost got, I almost got, but I saw him coming, so I kind of like evaded the situation. But when you're in that life and you're just roaming and, chasing after women, smoking weed, anything can happen. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when we were in LA is gang culture. So you can walk past a liquor store and Mexicans will be over there, Latino brothers, those are our brothers and sisters, but we may not see one another as that. Yeah. And they may be gang affiliated in their gang. So they may look at you and think that you may be gang affiliated, so they'll test you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so when you're walking in that environment, anything can happen. So when I read that book was like, yo, you got to rearrange your thought pattern because all of the stuff that you're looking at that we experience, this is nothing but savagery. Mm-hmm. This is like bestiality type of stuff, right? Yeah. Nick, right? Mm-hmm. That's what that is. And we're supposed to be elevating on a higher level of thought pattern. So, but the way the book put it was not in a science type of way. Mm-hmm. It was like in a simple terminology type of way. Yep. Yeah. If the black woman is a bitch, then you the son of one. Yep. Yeah. Like so
simple.
When
it's so simple. Anyone can understand.
Right. Yeah. So in that sense, it was like, whoa, this is deep. So it caused me to start thinking. And then from there, that was the first time I had, because his teachings were based off of the wisdom of the nation. Mm. That's what he put at the end of the book.
Oh, he put
yeah.
At the
I didn't know that.
Really?
I didn't know that. Yeah, but at the end of the book, he credits the nation for the teachings. But I didn't know that. So because he doesn't open up, hey, this is where I got it from. So, but by the end of the book, you're like, this is deep. I want to learn more. Yeah. This is powerful. Like, I want to. Where can I study more? And my stepmother was the one who gave me the book in L.A. I was working. My dad was trying to get me to go to the mosque, and I was like, nah, I'm good on that. I'm good. We doing music. My brother's on the radio station. We in the studio. I'm going back and forth from L.A. to Long Beach. I'm smoking weed. I'm like, nah, I'm good on that. Mm-hmm. And so I was working a job at a parking lot, and I was a valet parking attendant. I mean, that's where I got my first ride in Bentley, Ferrari. I mean, I would take you would drop your car off, and I'd take it for a joyride. Yeah. And it was dope. So, they never knew that.
Of course, we got that. Yeah.
But they, they let me take it for a ride because it's just like, yeah, man, here's the keys. I got to go handle some business, so I'll take your Bentley for a joyride real quick before I park it. Yeah. And so, I drove a bunch of different cars. So I liked that job, man. It was cool. And because I can drive a stick. My dad taught me how to drive a stick since I was like 15 years old. Mm-hmm. So the boss was like, hey, you're going to be working on the 7th floor. You're going to replace a brother from South America, and he was going on vacation for a week. So I need you to like work down there, but you're going to be sitting, and you're just going to replace him. So I said, okay. So I asked my stepmom. I'm not a book reader. I'm like, I call her Miss Shanti. Miss Shanti, I gotta go do this different thing at the job. Do you got anything I could read? Like anything? Because I'm gonna be sitting down.
So you asked her.
I asked her, yeah. I asked her. And she was the one. My dad couldn't get to me. She was the one. I don't know what she was thinking. Wow. Yeah. She didn't give me any of the nation's like deep literature because they had all of it. Mm-hmm. And the morning that I'm rushing out, Miss Shanti, Ma, I'm knocking on the door. I gotta go catch this bus. This is Adams and Crenshaw in L.A. And she was like, okay, yeah, give me a sec. And she comes out and she hands me the book. Boom, just like that. And I look at it and I say, And it kind of made me do like, dang, that's a
Whoa.
deep
Yeah.
title. Like,
Yeah.
like this is strange, right? Because I'm thinking she's getting ready to give me some Islam, something, right?
Mhm.
That I never read before and I
Yeah.
didn't want to read.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it like, So I threw it in my book bag, and I took off.
Yeah.
And when I took off, I got on the bus, and I literally I listened to music on the bus. I never read it on the bus.
Yeah.
I only read it for what I needed it for.
Yeah.
Like if it was like a book on the sky is blue, I
You
would
would-
have just read it at what I needed it for. Like I would have sat down. I needed it because I was sitting down.
Yeah.
When my other position, I'm parking cars like I'm moving. This one is just boring.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat down and I read the book, and I read it every day for 5 days, sitting down during an 8-hour shift. And on that the fifth day, I was woke up.
Wow.
Like woken up like I had
and
a
on the
awakening.
5th day, he awoke.
Yeah, so on the 5th day, I was like in really deep thought,
Yeah.
like really, really deep thought. And I came home and I told my stepmom, because it's the weekend now, I was like, I read that book. She was like, you didn't read that book.
Oh.
I said, yeah, I read the book. I said, I read the book. She was like, tell me something that you learned in it. And I gave her a principle from the book.
Yeah.
And she said, dang, you really did read the book. And I
Not,
said,
not
yeah.
the son of a
Which
bee
one?
principle.
Which one?
Was it
What
the
did you
son of
tell
a
her?
bee
Do you remember what you said?
The principle was about slavery. And how, you can change, you can be in physical slavery, but mental slavery is worse than physical slavery.
Yeah.
So, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that we were physically enchained during the transatlantic slave trade,
Yeah.
but mental slavery is worse than that. Because
Yeah, of
you're
course.
no longer a physical slave, but you're still, like, we still have all of this violence in our community against one another.
And it's
because
not
of
as
our
plain
mind.
to see.
Because of our
That's
mind.
that's the thing. The physical one, you can see it.
The physical,
You can identify
the physical
it.
one.
So you can
mental
do
and
something.
spiritual slavery is way far more worse than that. So when I told her that, she never heard me talk like that. Like
Yeah.
I never talk. I'm smoking weed. I don't talk like that, right? So she never heard me break that down like that.
Yeah.
And when I did it, she was like, "Yeah, you did read that book." And I said, "I want to learn more."
Yeah.
And from there, I started studying.
So then you went to the mosque.
Right.
and things.
Because I was what L. Ron Hubbard said, the way you get to people is you got to get people to read books.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
a lot of people who disseminate their religion, they're always trying to teach and talk to people.
Yeah.
They're always trying to teach and talk.
Let me tell you about it.
Tell you about it, right?
Yeah.
Well, you got to read the Bible. Well,
Yeah.
the Bible is great. The Holy Quran is great. These
Yeah.
are great books. But people get mad at the nation, like other Muslim communities, because we have what is called the Final Call newspaper. They don't understand, well, that's not the Quran. But people who are blind, deaf, and dumb, they're not just going to jump. They're on a grade. You got to get people on a gradient or a step-by-step ladder.
Yeah.
You're trying to get somebody who smokes weed, carries a gun, gangs bang, or chases women in the strip club, throwing bottles, whatever we do in life, right? Wilding out, sleeping with promiscuous. You're trying to get this person that's thinking about sex, and drugs every day and get them to a highly spiritual level and read the whole Holy Quran and be sitting there meditating the next day, I'm no longer a slave.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. You have to
yeah.
get them on a level.
Yeah.
So the Final Call is a thing that we can get people news, information, and then there's spiritual wisdom lectures that are transcribed in the paper. And inside the paper, they'll read a bunch of different things, and it leads them to a spiritual message. And the spiritual message is not 15 pages. It's like 2 or 3,
Yeah.
1 page, something quick,
Yeah.
right? Elron said that a few misunderstood words is better than no words at all.
That's right.
Wow.
You don't already know that one.
It's the
That's
intro
right.
Wow.
That's
It's
correct.
It's the intro
You
route.
read something.
So a few, it's when people go through the intro routes at the church.
Yeah.
So, because he addressed that. A few misunderstood words in your introduction or whatever you getting somebody is better than no words at all.
Yeah.
So it's better for me to give you the paper and
Yeah.
give you a book
Yeah.
so that you can read a book. If I can get you to read a book, you may have you're not going to understand everything, but whatever you understand in there, that's better than me giving you a full-blown lecture on the street trying to get you to understand everything all at once.
Yep.
And so people don't understand that. So the book, The Gods, was that for me.
Yeah.
So that was the quickener to my thought. And when I read the book, I said, I want to learn more.
It's amazing.
Wow.
That's amazing.
On on the point of the like mental slavery idea and concept, I feel like it was probably a couple of years ago, Kanye West said something about this and he got destroyed in the media. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When I heard what he was saying, obviously I didn't say anything publicly about it because I'm like,
Right.
ugh. But actually what he was saying, I thought, unless I was misunderstanding it, I thought he was actually going down a very similar train of thought to what you just described.
Uh-huh.
Is that right? Do you remember that?
When he was talking
hear
about
about
the controllers of the music industry, the ones who control the music industry, or the
Yeah.
slavery in music and the contract. He was on the Drink Champs.
It probably was that, yeah.
Okay.
What did you say? The
The-
Drink Champs?
Drink Champs. It's called Drink Champs podcast.
Podcast.
Yeah, that's probably was what I just heard a soundbite of it.
A soundbite.
And he
Do
was
you
getting
remember
just-
what like some of the?
What I remember him saying is that slavery really was a mental situation.
Oh, I
And
remember
they were
that,
like-
that controversy. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
People were mad because they thought he was disrespecting slavery.
Yeah, and like people were basically like, he's saying slavery never happened.
Yeah, I remember that. I
Yeah.
don't remember I'm trying to think. I think he was saying something like slavery wasn't as bad because mental slavery is worse than physical.
I think that is what
Something
he was
like that,
saying.
maybe.
Something
Yeah,
like
I think that's
it,
exactly what he was saying.
it was either that or something else, but people felt offended. Yeah, it's the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, said that I didn't raise you to be mockers of another people. So whatever knowledge we learn, whatever history we learn, it's not to go out and laugh at other people and make mockery of other people. It's science, it's history, it's learning the history so you can correct now and make a better future for tomorrow. So a lot of times we get conscious in the community, in the black community, we'll get conscious and then we'll become super political,
Oh,
really political,
yeah.
right? Man, we got to fight the power, man, fight the power. And it's just like, yeah, but the greatest enemy is within myself. That's what the Nation of Islam, we have a strong message, but the core message is clean up your neighborhood and make your community a safe and decent place to live.
Yeah.
That's the core of the message. All of the other teachings are really, really medicines to get, like, to handle certain things, right, for certain people. But it is put in context, right? It has to be put in context. For example, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad asked one time, well, who's responsible, the clay or the potter? So in other words, slavery happened to us, but God is the one who allowed it to happen. So why did he allow it to happen? See? So when we wake up, we like, yeah, slavery is deep, man. We need reparations and boom, boom, boom. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. But is it for us to go out and get angry and do to people what was done to us? Or is it to go out and say, and ask God, why did you permit slavery, right? Why did you allow it to happen? And what's the purpose of it?
Yeah.
And what can we do to kind of like look at the purpose?
Yeah.
And so the message of the minister is along that lines, even though people hear him talk about a lot of different things, but there is a core message in the minister's word and the Nation of Islam's teachings that makes black people more responsible.
Yes, sir.
That's
It's
beautiful.
a message of responsibility, and responsibility, it just means you're able to respond to a problem. And the greatest problem that we have is ourselves. With we look at slavery to say, look at what it did to us. So now, and then look at what we're doing to ourselves, and we have to put a stop to that, right? And then once we put a stop to what we're doing to self, then we can come out and say, I'm a civilized human being. Now I can come to the table with the Japanese, the Chinese, with the Caucasian, with Muslims, with Christians. Now we can come to the table with the whole human family and say, listen, this is what we want to add to the onward march of civilization. We have scientists, we have architects, we have engineers, we have our community, we have this, we have that. You know, we would like to help you all with this. We have science and medicine, and we found a cure for this. Maybe we can help you all over here. That's what the message of the Nation of Islam is really solely really the core message. That's what it's about.
Wow.
Yeah, and I want to add to here. So if you guys want to hear Final Call News, there is a link we're going to put down below to the Million Man March Pledge.
Yeah.
And you'll see that's on finalcall.com, I think is the website, but it'll be down in the links. And that's what I've seen over and over. Minister Farrakhan talking about building, talking about respect, talking about music, using music to uplift. And I think you're doing a fantastic job with that message, because the transition, at least that you briefly talked about here, of what you were before and now your opening rap is just an example of like taking and just making it the thing to do, to be responsible, to be caring, to be respectful, to build, and to be a father, and to be a responsible contributing member of society, which I think all religions have that as a goal. Any true religion has the goal of bringing people to be more civilized, more godlike, more than just a savage, right? Being higher. And so that's all that's what I've seen in the teachings. As an outsider, I'm
Right.
Yeah. I'm not a member, but question: I'm not black.
Okay.
Could I become a member, or is it like not only black people? Like, actually, I don't know. If I want, I'm not saying I want to be a member. I'm just saying, like, how is that?
And I'm less black than Aaron, so what about me?
There's a tenet on the back of the Final Call. It's a principle. In the back of what the Muslims want and what the Muslims believe. And it says here, we believe further and lastly that Allah is God, and besides him there is no God, and he will bring about a universal government of peace wherein we all can live in peace together. So and another principle, we believe in the resurrection of the dead, not in physical resurrection, but in mental resurrection. We believe that the so-called Negroes are most in need of mental resurrection. Furthermore, we believe we are the people of God's choice. We believe in the resurrection of the righteous. There's like principles. So we believe in the resurrection of the righteous. Any human being that desires good, righteousness, peace, right? Any human being, the nation is a representation of that person. So the nation is really a government, universal. But, God talks that he's going to set up a kingdom on earth, the kingdom in so many words. So, but it's not like nobody can be in the nation. There's the mosque and then there's the nation. So the mosque is definitely like, you're joining something and you're signing up for to give your life to this cause, like dedicating your whole life forever to the cause, right? The mosque is like an incubator of future leaders in this developmental stage and program. But the nation is a universal government of peace wherein we all can live in peace together. And we believe in the resurrection of the righteous, period, no matter where they're at on the planet, right? So that's what the Nation of Islam really represents in the end goal, is to heal people and save people throughout the entire planet. And it's not that, my brother can be wicked one day and be righteous the next.
That's right.
So it's not like, okay, these people are doing evil. They're in China and they're doing evil. To hell with them. No, it's just like, well, how do you get people from evil to good? You got to give them a word. You got to give them a message. You got to get them to read. You got to get them to see something different. So that really is just saying the righteous, meaning that anybody that desires good, peace, and righteousness, they can be a part of the Nation of Islam.
Okay,
so basically, non-blacks are invited.
Yeah, so you can come to Savior's Day.
Okay.
You can study the teachings online. The teachings, like the Nation is not a cult. We had a
cult defined as, by the way, a closed group.
Closed group, right?
That's the true definition of an actual.
It's not our teachings are online.
Yeah.
It's like we have certain private but every organization, every every business has private meetings,
That's
you
right.
know.
Of course.
Like
That's right.
Amazon has executive meetings. They don't invite all Amazon employees
That's right.
even
Of course.
to their
Of course.
executive meetings, right? You can be the biggest Amazon. Hey man, I spent $1 billion at Amazon, right?
Yep.
You're
You
not
won't
going to be
go.
invited
That's
into
right, that's
the
right, that's right.
Amazon executive meeting
course,
with
of
Jeff
course.
Bezos.
Of course.
So
Hell,
everybody has their core.
You can own $1 billion of Amazon stock,
Right,
and you
stock.
still won't be invited.
Exactly, yeah. So everybody has private things to deal with their own internal organization, policies, and whatnot. But in terms of the Amazon family, that's anybody can be a part of the Amazon family. And our teachings are online. I had a Jewish Scientology lady. She was Jewish. And she was like, when is the next time the minister, when is he speaking? And we told her when he was speaking, and she says, I watch the minister every time he speaks. So I mean, the teachings are already in every household. Whoever wants to pull it down, they can pull it down, study it, order a book, learn it, practice it, and be like, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And
Thank you.
so how did Scientology become involved? How did you find Scientology?
Through Minister Farrakhan.
Yeah. Can you talk us through how
Yeah.
that happened?
So in 2011, no, in 2010, my brother called me. My younger brother called me in LA. Yo, you gotta look into the Church of Scientology stuff, man. Minister Farrakhan just spoke in Hollywood. Bro, I'm telling you, bro, this the next thing, man. You gotta, I'm like, and I'm in the nation. He's not like we're in the
What?
nation.
Whoa,
But
hold on.
I'm
What?
registered. Like I'm registered
Yeah.
in the
You're initiated.
well, it's like the Sea Org and the staff member.
Yeah.
Right? You have Sea Org, you have staff members. So you have like a dedicated group that's dedicated 24/7,
Yeah,
7
yeah.
days a week,
Yeah.
365
Yeah,
days
yeah,
a
yeah.
year. And you have just regular people that just help out, you know, but
Yeah.
they work, but they're
So
not like,
so what part are you?
I'm like more so dedicated every
The
day.
top.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
are you
FOI.
FOI?
Yeah,
Okay,
the
so you're
FOI,
FOI.
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just saying like you're
Wait,
supposed to be
what does FOI stand for?
fruit of Islam.
Fruit of
Fruit of
Islam.
Islam.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
And this is that a for life thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You once you I mean, you can take a break. You know, like right now I have my mom's situation,
Sure,
so
sure.
I'm
Yeah.
you know,
Leave of absence type.
you have certain
Yeah.
things.
Okay.
But you're supposed to always have it like you're never like it's anybody, it's freedom, justice, and equality. So you can
course.
leave whenever you want.
Of course.
But if you leave, it's consequences.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah,
and
We
the
understand that.
consequences
Yeah,
are
yeah.
simply you gave your word.
Correct.
You signed up.
Yeah.
Somebody gave you some wisdom and knowledge. You gave your word. Well, what kind of consequences are you talking about? Well, every time you see somebody suffering, you're gonna feel bad because you're not doing nothing about it,
That's right.
Yeah.
right? So my brother hasn't signed up like that, but he studies. So he's
Yeah.
like more like
So he's a
in it.
member. So he's a member.
He's
Okay,
just
okay.
like anybody who studies and believes in it. So he's calling me. I just left this meeting. The minister spoke to all these white folk, Church of Scientology. Bro, you gotta go check out this book, Dianetics. And I'm inside feeling mad because I'm like, bro, you telling me to do something that I should be telling you to do.
Oh,
Because I'm on the inside
yeah.
and you like, you know.
Yeah.
So I was just like, yeah, you know, I mean, I'm gonna hear about it, I'm sure. You know, I was kind of feeling like that. So then I went downtown to go check it out. And I walked past the building and I saw a Church of Scientology building and Dianetics was in the window. So I went inside and I was like, yeah, I'm just interested and curious of like, what can I do? Like, there's something I can, like a course or a book I can read.
Yeah.
And I remember the staff member, she was just like, yeah, I was at Savior's Day. Are you, do you know what course the minister wants you to do? And I'm like, well, not really. So I left and kept going home, staying downtown at the time. And the minister was telling us, I don't want you all rushing down there. We're going to roll this out.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want us like jumping into anything. Like you go, so the first thing he wanted us to do was the Dianetics.
Yeah.
That was the first thing he wanted us to be introduced to. But if you go down there on your own and you go ahead of what he's telling us to do, you can kind of like do something and then you can get turned away and say, this is not really something that we should be doing. So he wanted us to follow chain of command
And go together.
Right, and go together, right. So the first wave was all of the top officials and executives of the Nation of Islam. They went and studied first.
Yeah.
Then he opened up the second wave for a general body of believers. And I was in that body. I went down. I was having anger issues in some of my relationships.
Yeah.
My mom's relationship wasn't that great, and I watched the whole Dianetics. They play some chapters from how to use Dianetics.
book, DVD.
And they played the testimonies at the end, and the whole time I'm like focused the whole time. And during the testimony, one girl said that I had a session and I had some therapy from something that happened to me, and I went back in the womb of my mom, and I came out of the session and I called my mom. And I said, Mom, you the best mom I've ever had. And when she said that, tears rolled down my face.
Wow.
Thinking about my mom. And when I heard that,
God.
I said, this must be something that I was looking for. So I ASAP connected it to things that I was going through. Yeah. And I said, they said, so who, is anybody here that wants to? I said, yep, like that.
Yeah.
And a brother named Fernando came over. And he was like, yeah, so you want to do the whole course? Let me just study the book in the course. Well, how much do I? $21.50. I had $21 in my pocket. Gave him the money. I read the book, and that's how we got introduced. When I was reading the book, I had to keep flipping back to the front because I couldn't believe who the author was, because it was in agreement with everything that. A lot of things that we study in the Nation of Islam, the science part of it is all in Dianetics, and I didn't know that.
Wow.
So I had to keep flipping to the front because I didn't really. It's not that I didn't believe in L. Ron Hubbard. I just wanted to second guess, like, who wrote this book again?
Yeah.
I kept doing that
Because it aligned so.
It
closely.
aligned, yeah. It aligned, yeah. It was an alignment. Because the minister said that he hates spiritual, intellectual cowardice. He can't stand that, people who can't merge science with religious principles and be able to blend the two, right? The nation does that all day. God, Jesus said he came to give us life and give us life more abundantly. The Nation of Islam says if you don't change your diet and fix it, you're going to pass before your time. So how are you going to have life more abundantly if you don't eat right?
That's right.
So it's like science to it, right? It's like, okay, this is a principle, this is truth, but then the demonstration of it is change your diet, fix your diet, correct your diet in order to have abundant life, right?
Yeah.
So so when I read the book, the next thing I did was the auditor's course, because I was a believer, and then I got my first session in Dianetics, and my first auditing session was when I was almost thrown out of a moving car on the highway, sitting next to my little brother, who only wanted the seatbelt around the waist, and he always hated the strap around my chest. And I was fiddling with the door, and my dad, he's from Trinidad. They drive Trinidad. Anybody, I don't know if it's just Jamaicans, people from the Caribbean, but he drive crazy.
Yes.
So he's like driving crazy on the highway, boom, boom, boom. And I'm playing with the door, and the door flies open on the highway, and my face is underneath the car looking at the highway. It's a near-death experience. Because had my dad not yanked me back and I would have fell out, either I would have died, gotten hit, or got severely injured.
Yeah, you're not in a good way.
That was my I think my second auditing session.
And specifically what you're saying is
therapy.
That's the incident that came up.
Yeah,
that
was
you
the
handled.
Incident. Yeah, that I handled, yeah.
Wow.
So after those first two therapy sessions, I was a believer in that. I was like, this worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was ASAP. I was like, yeah, this worked. Because it was science. Because we're not. The thing about it is the minister is the most out of the religious community, even political people. I don't know a more universal man than Minister Farrakhan. Like, I don't know personally, because a lot of religious people who have their flock and community, they're not crossing into another man's religion, studying another man's stuff, and saying we're going to use this in our organization like it's a part of us, like it's always been a part. And it's just like the minister was deep, because he was giving us like the understanding of our mission, and like some of these principles he's giving it to us. And to me it makes sense, because I went to college, you know what I'm saying? I did engineering and I have an associate's degree in that. And you know, I never asked none of my instructors. All my instructors were white. I never asked them, hey, man, do you believe in Barack Obama, or do you believe in Nelson Mandela, or do you believe in Africa? I don't care. I don't care what you believe in. I'm here to get a degree.
Yeah.
And if I need some tutoring, I'm like, hey, man, can I get some tutoring? I can't get this thing, right? I'm gonna ask my question. In college, when you're going to get trained and taught by people, you're not there to challenge the instructors. You're there to learn and get something so you can better your life.
Yeah.
And it would be foolish to challenge an instructor because you can get a failing grade.
Yeah.
So the minister is always teaching us, like, when you go out to get knowledge, you know, go out and be a student and be a humble student to learn and allow life to teach us. So that's what Dianetics was doing. And when I studied it, I told the course instructors when I was on my HDA,
Hubbard Dianetics auditor, by the way.
Hubbard Dianetics auditor, studying to become an auditor in Dianetics. I said, man, when I was 18, man, I seen a billboard and an advertisement at a bus stop, and I seen this book, Dianetics. And I told him, I said, man, I seen that book, and I was just so turned off. And I said, man, everybody's just out here trying to get some money, man. This is crazy. And they start laughing. The book, because it was like modern science of mental health, and I was just turned off by it, right? Boom.
Yeah.
But I had no knowledge, no wisdom, no religious other than the church, smoking weed. And so it was just that. The minister was the one in the teachings and training of us as Muslims. Prophet Muhammad, and I said this the other day, and I'll say this right now. Prophet Muhammad said there's a hadith, and a hadith just means sayings of the prophet. One learned man is harder on the enemy of God or the devil than 1,000 ignorant worshipers.
Wow. Let me see if I got that. So one learned man is harder on the devil than 1,000
ignorant worshipers. So you have a lot of ignorant worshipers everywhere.
Yeah.
And these are worshipers of God, not worshipers of the devil. You're talking
these are
about
worshipers of God.
Yeah.
One learned man, learned, educated,
Yeah.
wise, studied, a student. One learned man is harder on Satan than 1,000 ignorant worshipers praying all day and every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right? Why? Because he said that, you know, a Muslim should be in the search of knowledge and in the path of knowledge from the cradle to the grave, and even if you have to go to far off China. So we have these principles in religion, but people pick and choose what they want to believe. You know, when you sit down with a Muslim, a Scientologist was telling me this the other day. They were, she was married to I guess a Muslim before, and we were having a conversation. And I said, you know, I didn't really know how to handle him because he didn't really believe in Scientology. You know, I was brand new. And I said, you know, I was talking to a Muslim one day, a Muslim brother from another community, and we were talking about Dianetics. He was like, nah, all I need is the Sunnah, the Prophet Muhammad's way, the Sunnah, his way, or studying the way he did things, right? All I need is the Sunnah and the Quran, nothing else. So I said, you don't subscribe to nothing else? Yeah, brother, all I need is the Sunnah and the Quran. So I said, if your nephew wanted to learn how to lay concrete and pour concrete, you would tell him the only thing he needed to study was the Sunnah and the Quran in order to pour concrete? Guess what he said? He said, yeah. I said, brother, that don't make no sense.
No. Oh, man.
It doesn't make sense. And I was telling her, I said, see, the minister gives me this, I get this understanding
worshiper.
from Minister Farrakhan.
I was just going to say, yeah.
It's the worshiper,
Yeah.
but even Muslims and Christians, they have these teachings and principles from Jesus to Abraham to Muhammad, but you got to understand it. So the minister is the one that gave us this understanding, and I'm talking to him, and I said, brother, and it's really, really hypocritical. It's very hypocritical. You have Muslims all throughout the world that go to college and study all kind of degrees.
Oh, it's true.
Oh, they did around Hubbard? Nah. Nah. That final call? Nah. But you just went and studied at this university in California. How do you know the owner of the university is not a pedophile?
Correct. What were their teachings? Who even put the curriculum?
How do you
can't
know?
see it.
How do you know the
textbooks?
dean? How do you know the dean is not the biggest how do you know the dean looks at Muslims in the Middle East and is burning the Holy Quran in the house? You don't know that, but you're not there. You don't care about that. You're there to get a degree in medicine so you can go back and practice medicine, and Muslims can come to your hospital or your clinic to get some aid. So, but it's not L. Ron Hubbard. Well, yeah. See, you don't know what L. Ron Hubbard believe in. I know in the book, the minister said, I don't know because I wasn't there with him. But in the books, I ain't find nothing evil in the books. I find nothing but good for me and my community in the books.
Right. Yeah.
So it really, at this point, it don't matter what he personally said and believe. I don't give a damn, right? That's the minister. But even though, you know, we wouldn't want to believe that and fish for those things. But you have people who are, it's really hypocrisy. Because you go to the gas station, who's the owner of BP? Does the owner of BP love Muslims? Do they love Jesus?
Someone British.
Who knows? I don't know.
I mean, what do they do in their personal life? But they own BP, they give you oil. But you're not gonna question the owners of BP, man. If this thing don't align with Islam, I'm not putting gas in my car. Well, you're not gonna drive anywhere. It's foolishness, right? It's really another thing that it says people strain at it. They swallow a camel and strain out a gnat. You know, because they're focusing on something so small that you're missing the big picture. The big picture at the end of the day gets you some knowledge and help yourself out at the end of the day. That was the minister's when he was breaking things down like that. He didn't have to go that far with a lot of us.
Sure.
But he was just explaining certain things because, you know, it's new. You got to, you know, take your time. But once I got my first alternate session, I was like, yo, this worked. And that's at the end of the day. It's like when you get a new phone. I'm in cinematographer, and they're like, you need to get the iPhone 16 Pro Max. I get the Pro Max. I go out there and shoot a video, and I put log on the camera. I'm like, damn. And I go back and edit it, and I'm like, damn, this camera is really great. I like the iPhone. It's as simple as that. But I don't care about what the owner of Apple is personally believing in his personal life. Nobody does.
That's
and
right.
I'm sure he has some crazy thoughts about a whole bunch of people in they belief system. I don't know, and I don't care. All I want to know is, does this camera take good photos? Can I do good videos with it? Can I call my wife? You know what I'm saying? And enjoy my phone. And if you have a product that I can enjoy, that I can use and benefit myself, that's what matters to everybody on the planet. Nobody is gonna say, no, it does matter. No, it doesn't, because you prove it every day that it doesn't matter.
That's right. Yeah.
Amazing.
So that's how I got into initially into the technology.
Oh, amazing.
So I have a question that I have never asked, and since for the nation as a whole, right? I don't know how much you know or how much you can divulge, right? But being in the FOI, what have you seen in the nation itself from around 2010, 2011, that time until now? I mean, it's been 14, 15 years, 16 years that Farrakhan has been looking into Dianetics and saying, hey, use Dianetics to get better. How have you seen the change in your brothers and sisters and in the nation as a whole?
We're still changing and evolving, and we've come a long way. We have a long way to go, but we've come a long way. Family is there's a principle we're taught that family is the cornerstone of a nation.
Yes.
And marriage is the cornerstone of family, and that
not just a Muslim belief, by the way.
Yeah. Definitely. And right now, the enemy of God worldwide, particularly in America, is doing everything. You can call them SP, suppressive personality, Satan, the society, the evil ones, spiritual wickedness in high places. They're doing everything they can to make sure that family is eroded and destroyed in this country.
That's right.
You have infidelity in all the music, in the movies. Like, there's loose, promiscuous behavior promoted everywhere. You have people get married and they're famous and they have a lot of money. They wait a few years, and every time you look around, such and such is calling for another divorce, another divorce, and another divorce, and another divorce. And man, she's asking for all this money in the divorce. And it's just family is really, really, really getting attacked, and it's been like that for a minute.
Yes.
So the nation is really big on family, and one of our student officials, executives, he's in California, and we're having a meeting, and he did the survival rundown, which I started, and I'm gonna finish. I've already started it. And he, so I asked him, I said, I went up to, at the end of the meeting, I said, you did that? I said, do you recommend the brothers do that before they get married? He said, oh, absolutely, brother. And I said, what did it do something for you that you can share? And he said he was married for like over 14 years and got a divorce and was done. Completely done. They was going their separate ways, paperwork was done, everything. He said, brother, I just started the survivor rundown, and I went back and realized how much of a fool I was and remarried my wife.
Wow.
That's what he told me. So those who use the technology and the knowledge, I mean, you can fix a relationship off of the technology, and many believers are doing that.
Wow.
So being able to hold things together, especially when the Scientology gets you to look at self. You know how many divorce people, I meet so many people who have divorces, and I just ask them, you couldn't, because they say, I got a divorce. How long you been married? 15 years. Damn, you couldn't save that?
Yeah.
And just about everybody I asked, you couldn't do nothing to save none. And the reason why they feel they couldn't save it is because of the other person.
That's right.
Always.
Yeah.
It's because of the other person. So if something, if you go in if a student brother or a brother in the Nation of Islam that's very high in his executive position, right, and very respected, right, and strong, big, and people look up to him, and I walk up to him and he tells me, brother, I went back and remarried my wife off of just starting the therapy.
Yeah.
So that is to say, what was it that caused him to look at himself, right? That made him say, because he said he realized how much of a fool he was. He didn't tell me I realized how much of a fool she was, and she needed me.
Yeah.
So I went back and convinced her, you need me because you was a fool. He said, brother, I realized how much of a fool I was, and I went back and remarried my wife.
Yeah.
So that right there just showed me that it's really making the change that we want to see in the nation, because we can teach the community, because you go out and you share knowledge with the community, and you're disseminating your Islam and your belief. But what good is it to the Bible says, what good is it to go out there and try to, I think that's Holy Quran. But the purpose of what I'm trying to say is, what good is it to go out and get other souls saved and lose your own soul?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter how many people I'm trying to save. If I can't save me, what's the point?
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So the minister wanted us to use this inside the house first before we brought it out.
Yeah.
Because if I can save my marriage, then of course I can go save your marriage.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm studying the Holy Quran, praying, fasting, eating right, listening to Minister Farrakhan, all his lectures, the doing this of being a Muslim and going out and doing all of this, and I can't save my marriage, it's tough.
It's a bad
look.
look.
It's a bad It's a bad look.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing all of this. What if I can go out and help somebody save their marriage, and they're not doing all of the doing this that I have? They don't have all the responsibilities that I got. I can sit down and say, hey, listen, man, the main thing, y'all just don't pray together. When's the last time y'all prayed together? Well, we don't pray at all. Well, that's the big problem, right? So it becomes more simple, but then I can give a testimony and saying, listen, if you just fixed a few of these things and got a little therapy, I think y'all gonna be all right.
Yeah.
So, we should be able to go out and save people, but the nation really strongly preaches family.
Yeah.
Family is super big in the nation, and we're being attacked right now in this country and really throughout the world with family.
Yeah, that's true. One thing that L. Ron Hubbard talks about a lot in a lot of different places is the idea of power and how do you as an individual get into a condition of power in your own life, in whatever sphere you're in, right? And a lot of it comes from the ability to hold your position in space is one of the ways it's described.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the family unit being eroded, degraded, like brought down over time, really what I hear is I'm like, okay, people aren't able to hold their position in space with their partner, right? They can, the stability is out, right? They lose because that's really, when you talk about the cornerstone of a nation,
right? That's
the cornerstone. I have a construction company.
Yeah.
The cornerstone is what makes something stable.
Yeah.
You build off a cornerstone.
Right, exactly.
And if that's gone,
exactly,
the whole thing's going to fall down.
Exactly, yeah.
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 Yeah. So I have a question for you. This is a question we ask every guest. In your own words, what is Scientology?
Scientology is the study of knowledge, knowing more about life, and just being more aware about life itself. Just really because people are basically aware, but when you get up to the higher levels of more awareness and more awareness and more awareness, and you're more conscious that you are a being that really can control the cause and effects of things in life. That's what I would say Scientology is, being able to be more cause over your environment.
Amazing.
Nice. And now another question. So what is the Nation of Islam?
Oh, such a good question.
The Nation of Islam is, the Nation of Islam is I would call it a universal government of peace, but it's an idea that comes at the end of this world right now to give freedom, justice, and equality for people who are suffering injustice in this country and throughout the world. And because Islam just means submission to God's will. That's what Islam means. So really, it's like the start of building a community worldwide that is practicing, and submission to God's will doesn't mean I'm praying the way Muslims pray every day, right? Submission to God's will is doing good, being a righteous human being. And that's what God's will would, that's what he wills us to do. Just do right, do good. That's it. And it's really based off of the universal laws and principles of the universe. So, if you have a construction company and you build schools and you say, hey, man, I build schools because education is needed in the world. You practice in Islam when you build that school. So if you...
I got to go build a school.
Yeah, so it's just really righteous principles, right?
Yes.
Doing what God wills you to do, fulfilling your purpose. That's what God wills you to do. So if I'm fulfilling my purpose, I'm doing God's will. So it's just really that in the basic sense. But the nation is, like I said, it's not a closed group. It's really building a community of people, of righteous people throughout the world. It just started over here with us in America.
What do you feel is your purpose?
My purpose is art and culture, to use my gifts in creativity, art and culture. As the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us, one rap is worth 100 lectures.
One rap is worth 100 lectures.
If the rap has substance in it.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah, not the other.
Right, yeah.
Well, it could apply the other way in a negative way, though.
Yeah,
right?
if the rap has substance in it, taking people to higher levels of thought, it doesn't have to be preachy, it doesn't have to be corny. Still, because the minister told me, make sure you had the right beats behind that flow, brother. What he said, make sure you had the right production behind what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But one rap song. And it's a lot of artists that have both major and independent and underground that have the demonstration to use the art to speak to issues or tell a story. It's different forms of making a song. But as long as there's something that people can come away with that takes them higher, the minister said one of those songs is worth 100 lectures. L. Ron Hubbard talks a lot about artists. The minister really, really sits with a lot of artists and gives them a lot of wisdom and guidance. There's the art and culture community, he said, can speak the loudest for change on the planet.
That's right.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my purpose, is to be a part of that community so we can speak the loudest for change. And of course, you know, we got to go into other fields, and you know, all of the fields are important. And I have, you know, my skill set. My dad has a construction skill set and whatnot. So all of that is important. And you know, we got to be. I don't have to be doing so many different things, but you know, it's nice to be able to buy a home or buy something and remodel it and be able to fix it up and make it look better, right? That's all dope. So I'm definitely into that. But my core thing is to use my talents to uplift and inspire. So that's my purpose.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So guys, you can follow him. Where do people follow you?
Yeah.
Miko Stands, at Miko Stands. That's my artist name. Miko Stands. MIKALSTANDS. Miko Stands on all platforms.
Perfect. So guys, give him a follow. Check out this rap. You already know it's fire. So, guys, well, thank you for coming.
Yes, sir.
And remember, guys, don't do nothing.
Right. Peace.